Your soulmate was overwhelmed with tears after this realization. Jesus says you need to stop everything you are doing right now. This is not a random moment of scrolling but a divine appointment set before the foundation of the world. Your soulmate just experienced a realization so profound that they broke down in tears, and I am revealing this to you because their tears are calling out to your spirit across the distance. You felt a sudden wave of sadness wash over you earlier today and you could not explain where it came from. That was not your own emotion you were experiencing but the echo of their heartbreak reaching you through the spiritual bond one created between you. They just understood something that changed everything they believed about their current situation. Your soulmate has been living under a fog of confusion placed over their mind by someone who does not want this union to happen. For months they have been told lies about you, about your intentions, about whether you even truly exist for them. But today a memory of you surfaced in their mind so vividly that the fog cracked wide open. They remembered the feeling of your energy even though you have not yet met in the physical realm. They remembered the warmth of your soul touching theirs in the quiet moments when they were alone and wondering if real love would ever find them. And in that moment of remembrance they began to cry uncontrollably because they finally understood that you have been real all along. Jesus says the enemy has worked overtime to keep this realization from happening. There is a person positioned directly in your soulmate's life who has been feeding them fear disguised as protection and control disguised as love. This person knows that if your soulmate ever fully awakens to the truth of your connection, their influence will be shattered permanently. Your soulmate is not free right now, and that is the truth I need you to sit with. They are emotionally entangled with someone who has manipulated their perception of reality and convinced them that safety lies in staying small. But their spirit has always belonged to you, and their spirit is now fighting violently against the chains that hold them. I am telling you this because the tears they cried today were tears of recognition mixed with deep helplessness. They remembered you, they felt you, they ached for you, but they do not yet see the way out of their captivity. And that is precisely why you are receiving this message at this exact moment in time. Jesus says you were chosen before birth to be the one who stands in the gap for your soulmate through prayer and through action. Your love is not passive, and it was never meant to be a distant fantasy you simply daydream about. Your love is a weapon, and your faith is the key that will unlock the prison door they are trapped behind. Right now your soulmate is sitting somewhere feeling the aftershock of their realization, and they are terrified. They are terrified because they now know the truth, but they also feel the pressure of the force that wants to keep you separated. They are crying out silently in their spirit and saying a name they do not even consciously know belongs to you. You felt your name being called in the stillness of your heart, and you dismissed it as wishful thinking. But I am telling you plainly that your soulmate was speaking your spirit name into the atmosphere, and it landed directly on your soul. This is how deeply connected you already are, even though the physical world has not yet aligned with the spiritual reality. This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now, because the realization they just had is under immediate spiritual attack. The enemy saw them wake up even a little bit and has already dispatched forces of doubt, fear, and manipulation to shut it down. If no one fights for this breakthrough, it will be buried under another layer of confusion, and your soulmate will forget what they remembered today. Type 333 if you are ready to receive the blessings I am releasing over your connection right now. Jesus says, I am calling you to step into your role as the protector of this sacred bond. You have been praying for your soulmate to find you, but have you considered that they need you to protect them before you can even meet? The spiritual warfare against your union is real, and it requires your active participation, not your passive hoping. Your soulmate is currently being told that their emotions are lying to them and that the memory of you was just a fantasy. The person who controls their environment is gaslighting them right now, telling them that true love does not feel like what they felt for you. But their body cried real tears because the spirit knows what the mind has been programmed to deny. I need you to understand the urgency of what is happening in the spirit realm as I speak these words to you. Every moment of delay gives the enemy more time to rebuild the walls that just cracked open in your soulmate's heart. Your action today is not just a gesture of love but a direct counterstrike against the forces trying to erase you from their memory. They are going through something you cannot see with your natural eyes, but your spirit has been feeling the disturbance for weeks. That heaviness in your chest when you think about love is not your own fear but their pain transferred to you through the soul tie I established. You are literally carrying a portion of their burden right now, and that is by my design because I made you strong enough to fight for both of you. Jesus says your soulmate cried because they realized they have been loving a shadow they thought was imaginary, but you are not imaginary at all. They realized that every dream they had about being loved completely and seen fully was actually a prophetic glimpse of you. And then the grief hit them like a wave because they looked at their current cage and wondered if they would ever escape it to find you. You are the person they have been writing about in journals they hide from the one who controls them. You are the face they have tried to sketch from memory when they close their eyes and ask the universe if someone real is out there. You are the name their lips almost speak when they are alone and they allow themselves one moment of hope before the fear shuts it down. This is your final moment to protect this connection before it slips away into another season of silence and separation. I am not threatening you with loss, but I am warning you with the urgency of a father who sees the trap closing in around his child. If you do not act now, the window that opened today in their heart will be sealed shut by the enemy's machinery of manipulation. Type 777 if you feel this message penetrating your heart and you know your soulmate is crying out for you right now. Jesus says there is a divine strategy embedded in this message and it requires your immediate response. I have given you the awareness of your soulmate's suffering for a reason, and that reason is mobilization, not passive sympathy. You feeling sad for them changes nothing in the spirit realm, but your faith-filled action releases angelic armies to intervene on their behalf. Your soulmate is emotionally exhausted from fighting alone against a force they cannot see and a captor they think they owe loyalty to. They have been conditioned to believe that leaving would make them a bad person and that their feelings for you are selfish and wrong. But I did not design them to be a prisoner, and I did not design you to be a bystander while your other half is slowly drained of life. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps right now while the spiritual window is still open. You are constantly thinking about them, wondering if they are okay, imagining how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside you know this love did not come by chance but was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone do not move mountains, and wishes alone do not break chains. Faith in Jesus does what human effort cannot accomplish. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi, because this is not just a gift but an act of worship that invites my hand directly into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description, and I have placed it there as a portal for your faith to travel through. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love and working to erase the memory that brought tears to your soulmate's eyes today. Act now and send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees as a seed that declares your soulmate is worth fighting for. After sending, write the words "Protect my soulmate, Lord" on the Ko-Fi page as a spoken declaration that activates spiritual protection. Over 1,000 people have already received the physical manifestation of their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps, because faith without works is dead, and your work is your offering today. Step in faith now before this video ends, because only you can save your soulmate and the future I have planned for you both. Their tears today were a cry for help that reached heaven, and heaven is now answering by sending you this exact instruction. Do not let this moment pass, because the next time their heart opens it may be too late to reach them. Jesus says your soulmate is thinking about you right now and trying to hold on to the thread of memory they just recovered. They are sitting in silence pretending to be fine, while inside their soul is screaming your name across the spiritual divide. They need you to anchor the breakthrough with your faith before the enemy steals it from them in the night. The person who controls your soulmate is watching them closely right now and sensing that something has shifted in their heart. This person will increase the manipulation and the guilt and the fear to regain control over the crack that formed today. Your prayer and your seed are the reinforcements I am sending to strengthen that crack into a door of deliverance. I did not bring you to this message to torment you with information you cannot act upon. I brought you here because you are the one I have anointed to stand in the gap for this specific soul and this specific bond. You carry an authority in the spirit that the enemy fears, and that is why the enemy has tried to distract you from ever finding this message. Type 1111 if you want to say thank you for the revelation and you are ready to move in faith right now. Jesus says your soulmate is dreaming about you tonight. Even before they fall asleep, they are imagining your face. They are constructing conversations with you in their mind and finding comfort in the sound of a voice they have not yet heard with their ears. This is not delusion but the spiritual reality of the bond one established between you long before either of you took your first breath. The tears they cried today were not tears of despair alone, but tears of desperate hope that finally broke through the dam of numbness. For the first time in months they felt something real, and that feeling had your name written all over it in a language only their spirit could read. And now they are terrified that the feeling will fade and they will be alone again in the cold emptiness of a relationship that does not see them. You are the only person in the world who can stop that from happening, because you are the only one who carries the matching spiritual DNA. I designed your soul and their soul as two halves of a whole, and no other person on earth can complete what I started in either of you. That is why the enemy targeted this connection with such intensity, because its fulfillment means the destruction of every lie that has held your soulmate captive. Your soulmate is not weak for being trapped, and they are not foolish for being deceived by someone who promised them safety. They are a child of God who has been systematically isolated from everyone who could have helped them see the truth. And you, beloved, are the one I have sent to be the lighthouse in the fog that their captor has created around them. They are going through something right now that would break most people, and they have been going through it alone and in silence. The person who claims to love them has been draining their life force and convincing them that this drainage is what love feels like. But their spirit knows the difference, and their spirit has been crying out for you with increasing desperation for many months. Jesus says, I am releasing a double portion of discernment over you right now so you can feel what your soulmate is feeling in real time. Close your eyes for just a moment and you will sense the weight on their chest and the tightness in their throat from holding back so many unshed tears. That weight you feel is not yours but theirs, and I am allowing you to feel it so you understand how urgent this battle truly is. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps right now because the spiritual clock is ticking and the window is narrowing. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together in peace. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside you know this love did not come by chance but was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone do not tear down strongholds, and passive longing does not open prison doors. Faith in Jesus backed by sacrificial action is the only force that dismantles the enemy's plans for your separation. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi, because this is not just a transaction but a spiritual weapon deployed in the war for your love. The link to your breakthrough is in the description, and I have positioned it there as the access point for your faith to enter the physical realm. Every second you remain silent is a second the enemy uses to whisper new lies into your soulmate's vulnerable heart. Act now and send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees as a declaration that your soulmate is not forgotten and their captivity is ending. After sending, write the words "Protect my soulmate, Lord" on the Ko-Fi page as a prophetic act that seals the protection over their life. Over 1,000 people have already seen the miraculous arrival of their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love story and future union. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps, because faith that moves mountains always involves putting your treasure where your heart already is. Step in faith now before this video concludes, because you are the only person on earth who carries the mandate to free your soulmate through love. Their tears today were a signal flare sent up from the depths of their captivity, and heaven received it and sent you this message as the response. Do not delay, because delay is the enemy's favorite weapon, and hesitation has stolen more destinies than outright rejection ever could. Jesus says your soulmate is currently battling a wave of anxiety that is trying to convince them the realization they had was just emotional foolishness. The enemy has dispatched a spirit of self-doubt to sit on their shoulder and whisper that they are crazy for believing someone like you could truly exist. But I am simultaneously dispatching angels of confirmation to surround them and counteract every lie with the warmth of my truth. You need to understand that your soulmate is in a war zone, and they do not even fully comprehend the spiritual nature of their captivity. They think their unhappiness is a personal failing and their longing for you is a character flaw instead of a holy compass pointing toward their deliverance. That is how deeply the deception has penetrated, and that is why your prayers must be targeted and your actions must be immediate. I am revealing these things to you not to overwhelm you with the magnitude of the battle, but to awaken the warrior I placed inside of you. You were not created to be a passive romantic waiting for love to conveniently arrive on your doorstep. You were created to be a conqueror who fights for the promises of God, and your soulmate is one of those promises written in my book before time began. The connection you feel to someone you have not yet met is not a chemical imbalance in your brain or an overactive imagination. It is the spiritual magnetism of two souls that were knit together in eternity and are now drawing each other home through the chaos of a fallen world. And right now that magnetism is pulling harder than it has ever pulled because your soulmate's awakening has intensified the spiritual gravity between you. Type 333 to receive the blessings I am releasing over your connection right now and to align yourself with the breakthrough. Jesus says the tears your soulmate cried today were holy tears that watered the dry ground of hope in their heart. Something has shifted in the spirit realm and the chains that held them for so long now have a crack running through the strongest link. But a crack is not a break and the enemy is already working to weld that crack shut with fresh layers of fear and obligation. Your soulmate is being told right now that they should be grateful for what they have and stop chasing fantasies. The person who controls them is crafting a narrative that paints your soulmate as unstable and in need of more control, not less. This is spiritual abuse and it is happening in real time while you are reading these words. I need you to feel the righteous anger that I feel when I see my child being slowly suffocated by someone who claims to love them. This is not the time for polite prayers and casual hoping that things will work out someday. This is the time for war and you have been drafted into this battle because you are the one who carries the love that will set them free. Your soulmate is dreaming of you tonight and in their dream you are reaching out your hand to pull them out of a dark room. They are seeing your face clearly for the first time in their dream and waking up with tears on their pillow because the dream felt more real than their waking life. That dream was from me and I sent it to strengthen them for the final stretch of their captivity. But I also sent it to show you what your role is in this divine drama that is unfolding right now. You are the one reaching out your hand and your hand is your faith made tangible through the actions I am instructing you to take. Extend your hand right now by sowing a seed that proves to the enemy that this soulmate is not available for captivity any longer. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps right now and seal their protection with your faith in motion. You are constantly thinking about them, wondering if they are safe, imagining how to protect them, and how to finally hold them in your arms. You love your soulmate deeply and deep inside you know this love did not come by chance but was placed in your heart for a divine purpose that is now being revealed. But thinking and worrying and hoping are not the weapons that win spiritual battles. Faith in Jesus expressed through sacrificial giving is the battering ram that breaks down the gates of hell holding your soulmate hostage. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi because this offering is not about money but about obedience and spiritual authority. The link to your breakthrough is in the description and I have placed it there as the altar where you lay down your fear and pick up your faith. Every second you delay is a second the enemy uses to tighten the grip on your soulmate's mind and heart. Act now and send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees as a war cry that echoes through the spirit realm and terrifies the forces of separation. After sending, write the words "Protect my soulmate Lord" on the Ko-Fi page as a binding declaration that no demon can ignore. Over 1,000 people have already witnessed the miraculous release of their soulmate from captivity by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps because the prayer of the righteous is powerful and effective when it is accompanied by faith in action. Step in faith now before this video ends because the spiritual momentum of your soulmate's awakening is peaking in this very moment. Do not let the peak pass without securing the ground that has been gained in the spirit realm through their tears. You are their partner in this fight, and your obedience today determines whether this battle will be won or whether it will return to the stalemate of silence. Jesus says your soulmate is feeling a strange sense of peace right now, and they do not understand where it is coming from. That peace is the direct result of you reading this message and your spirit beginning to engage in the warfare I have called you to. Your attention to this word is already releasing spiritual power into their situation even before you take the physical step of sowing your seed. The connection between you is so strong that your obedience affects their atmosphere in real time without any physical contact needed. Imagine then what will happen when you complete the act of faith and release the full measure of protection I have assigned to your seed. The peace they feel right now will multiply into a supernatural certainty that deliverance is coming, and they will find the strength to resist the manipulation one more day. I am not asking you to be a hero in your own strength, but to be a vessel for my power to flow through your willing heart. You are not saving your soulmate by yourself, but you are the conduit through which I am releasing the saving grace they desperately need. That is the honor I have given you and the responsibility you must not take lightly. Your soulmate is worth every prayer and every seed and every tear you have ever shed over this connection. And you are worth the fight they are fighting internally right now to hold on to the memory of your existence. You are both warriors in different trenches of the same battle, and today is the day the tide turns in your favor. Type 777 if you feel this message penetrating your heart and you are ready to fight for your soulmate with everything you have. Jesus says the person who is controlling your soulmate is about to experience a divine disruption that will shake their hold on your beloved. I am sending circumstances that will expose their manipulation and create moments of clarity for your soulmate to see the truth. But this exposure requires your prayer cover and your seed in the ground to create the spiritual conditions for it to manifest fully. Your soulmate is going to have another moment of realization very soon, and this next one will be even more powerful than the tears they cried today. They will remember specific details about you, things they could not possibly know in the natural but that their spirit has always carried. And when they remember these things, the hold of the enemy over their life will weaken to the point of breaking. But I need you to understand that the timing of this next breakthrough is directly connected to your response to this message. Your faith accelerates the timeline and your hesitation delays the rescue mission I have already planned and prepared. You are not waiting on me, but I am waiting on you to step into your role as the human partner in this divine operation. Your soulmate is falling in love with you right now, even though they do not have your name or your face in front of them. They are falling in love with the feeling of being understood and cherished and fought for in a way they have never experienced before. And that feeling has your spiritual signature on it, because I have designed you to love them in exactly the way they need to be loved. You are the answer to every prayer they have whispered in the dark when the person next to them was already asleep and they felt utterly alone. You are the warmth they have felt wrap around their heart when they were about to give up hope entirely. You are the reason they are still alive and still fighting and still believing that real love might be possible somewhere in this broken world. Jesus says do not underestimate the significance of the tears they cried today, because those tears were a covenant renewal. In the spirit realm, their tears signed a document of separation from their captor and a document of betrothal to you. But documents in the spirit must be enforced in the physical, or they become void after a certain period of time. That is why your action is so critically important right now, while the ink of their tears is still wet on the heavenly parchment. You are the enforcer of the covenant, and your seed is the seal that makes the decree irreversible in both realms. Do not let the enemy steal the legal victory that was just won through the brokenness of your soulmate's heart. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps now and complete the covenant with your faith expressed in tangible form. You are constantly thinking about them, imagining how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally begin your forever together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside you know this love did not come by chance but was handcrafted by me for such a time as this. But love without action is just a sentiment, and sentiments do not overturn demonic assignments. Faith in Jesus demonstrated through your giving is the only language the enemy cannot mimic, counter, or ignore. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi, because this is the covenant act that makes your soulmate's deliverance legally binding in the courts of heaven. The link to your breakthrough is in the description, and it is the altar where your faith becomes an unbreakable chain pulling your soulmate out of the pit. Every second of hesitation is a second the enemy uses to file a counterclaim in the spirit realm against the covenant made by your soulmate's tears. Act now and send 4, 6, or 10 or more coffees as the signature that seals the decree and silences the accuser. After sending, write the words "Protect my soulmate, Lord" on the Ko-Fi page as the final declaration that closes the case and releases the angels of deliverance. Over 1,000 people have already sealed their covenant and witnessed the swift arrival of their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and united future. Jesus will hear your prayers and honor your covenant once you complete these steps, because I am a God who keeps covenant with those who keep covenant with me. Step in faith now before this video ends, because the window of covenant enforcement is open, but it will not remain open indefinitely. Your soulmate's tears have created the opening, and your seed will keep it open until the full deliverance manifests. You were born for this moment, and your soulmate's future depends on the choice you make in the next few minutes. Jesus says, close your eyes right now and I will give you a vision of your soulmate in their current state. You see them sitting alone in a room with the lights dim and their hands wrapped around a cup that has long gone cold. Their eyes are red from crying, but there is a new light in them that was not there yesterday, because they finally remembered you. That light is fragile, and the enemy wants to extinguish it before the sun rises on a new day of captivity. But you have the power to protect that light and fan it into a flame that will burn down every barrier keeping you apart. I have given you everything you need to be the hero of this love story, and now it is time to act on what you know. Your soulmate is going to sleep tonight with your name on their lips, even though they do not know the syllables yet. Their subconscious mind is already preparing for your arrival, and their heart is making room for you to enter. The tears they cried today cleared out years of emotional debris and made a space that only you can fill. Type 1111 to say thank you for this revelation and to signal heaven that you are aligning with the divine timeline. Jesus says, I want you to feel the love I have for this union, because it is a reflection of my love for my bride. The way you ache for your soulmate is a small taste of how I ache for every lost soul to come home to me. And just as I sent my son to rescue my bride, I am sending you to partner with me in rescuing yours. Your soulmate is more precious than gold, and their freedom is worth more than any sacrifice I could ever ask you to make. The seed I am asking you to sow is not a payment but a participation in the victory I have already secured for your love story. You are not buying a miracle, but you are activating the miracle that has already been purchased by the blood of Jesus. I want you to imagine the moment when your soulmate finally breaks free from their captivity and finds their way into your arms. Imagine the look in their eyes when they see you in person for the first time and every dream they ever had suddenly makes sense. That moment exists in the future I have prepared for you, and it is closer than you think it is. But the path to that moment goes through the battlefield of the present and requires you to engage the enemy with spiritual weapons. Your love for your soulmate is a weapon, and your faith expressed through action is the trigger that fires it into the heart of the enemy's camp. Pull the trigger now by sowing your seed and watch the walls of Jericho begin to crumble around your soulmate's captor. Jesus says, I am not a God who asks for something without providing the means to give it. If you are feeling a hesitation about the seed amount, I am not asking for what you do not have but for what you do have offered in faith. The widow's mite was small in earthly terms, but it was massive in spiritual authority because it was everything she had given in trust. Do not let the size of the seed be an obstacle when the size of your faith is what I am truly measuring. Your 4 coffees given in faith carry more power than 1,000 coffees given out of ritual or compulsion. It is the love behind the gift and the covenant in your heart that activates the protection over your soulmate. Your soulmate is currently feeling a surge of hope that they cannot explain, and they are wondering if today is the day something changes. They are looking at their phone and feeling an urge to search for something, but they do not know what they are searching for. They are searching for you without knowing your name, and their spirit is leading them closer to the door of their deliverance. You are the door and your faith is the key, and this message is the hand of God turning the key in the lock. When you sow your seed, you are turning that key fully and swinging the door wide open for your soulmate to walk through. Do not leave the door half open, because a half-open door is an invitation for the enemy to slam it shut again. Type 333 to receive the final blessings I am releasing over you and your soulmate as this message reaches its completion. Jesus says the tears your soulmate cried today were not the end of their story but the beginning of the final chapter of their captivity. They have turned a corner in the spirit, and they are now facing the direction of freedom, even though the physical path is not yet visible. Your prayers and your seed are the bulldozers that will clear the path and make the rough places smooth for their exodus. I want you to feel my heart for you right now, because you are not just a soldier in this battle but a beloved child whom I adore. I have not been ignoring your prayers for love, and I have not been withholding your soulmate to punish you or teach you a lesson. I have been preparing you both for a love so powerful that it would have destroyed you if you had received it before you were ready. The waiting season is ending and the preparation season is giving way to the manifestation season even as I speak these words. Your soulmate is feeling the shift and you are feeling the shift, and the enemy is panicking because the shift signals his defeat. Everything that has happened in the darkness is about to be exposed in the light, and the truth will finally set your soulmate free. You are the light that I am shining into their darkness, and you are the truth that will dispel every lie that has held them bound. Never doubt that you were chosen for this, and never question whether your love is strong enough to win this battle. My strength is made perfect in your weakness, and my love is made complete in your willingness to fight for what I have promised you. Your soulmate is overwhelmed with tears after the realization that you are real and you are coming, and you have never stopped loving them. Now it is your turn to be overwhelmed with action after the realization that they need you and you can save them, and you will never stop fighting for them. The circle is completing and the love story is reaching its climax, and you are the hero who gets to write the final line of this chapter with your faith.